to Sherry's Kitchen. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sherry. Some call me Mama D and some call me Nana. Anyway, you are welcome because there's always room for more. So come on into my kitchen and we are going to talk about condiments today. All right, as you come in, I'm going to be talking about dill relish. You can either buy it from the store, and we're going to talk about those ingredients, or you can make your own. So hold on and hang in there. We are going to have homemade dill relish. So hang in there. All right, let us look at the ingredients. Now, some of you may not buy this brand. Some of you may buy an organic brand. But you need to understand that even some of the things that they do eliminate, there are going to still be some ingredients in them that are not healthy for you. In my kitchen, we are vinegar free, just so you understand that. But there's a lot of other ingredients that are in here. Let's look at them. It says cucumbers, water, cabbage, distilled white vinegar, salt, guar gum, xanthan gum, aluminum sulfate, potassium sorbate as a preservative, dried red bell pepper, natural flavors, there it goes again, including celery, F, D, and C yellow number 5 dye. Is that what you want to put into your body? I hope not. So we are going to talk about ways to make our own. So let's go. So now let's look at the ingredients for the one we are going to be doing today, okay? Now, it's a little bit different, but this recipe will be put in the description box, but I also want you to know that I do make a little few changes, so hang in there. So it says 9 average size cucumbers or zucchini. Now, during the summertime, when these things are growing, we have plenty, okay? But today, because we had to purchase some, we're only going to be doing a half a recipe, okay? Now, you can do 50-50, half zucchini and half cucumbers, or you can do one of the others. Then it requires 2 red bell peppers chopped, 1 large onion chopped, 6 cups of water, 4 cups of lemon juice, 2/3 cup of pickling salt. Now I know that sounds like a lot of salt. It's not to go into the actual recipe. This salt is for soaking to get any of the excess moisture out of the vegetables, okay? And then you're going to rinse it off. Then we have 2 tablespoons of caraway seeds. Why caraway seeds? Well, I don't use mustard seeds. So as I looked up substitutions, it said that caraway seeds will give you the same type of flavor that mustard seeds give you. And we know caraway seeds are a lot more safer. Then we have 3 garlic cloves minced, a half a cup of dill weed chopped. Now if you are in gardening mode or if you can purchase some dill weed fresh, it's the best. But today we are going to be using dried, and I use half the amount when I use dried. And then you're going to combine all the vegetables, and then you have to let it sit for 1 hour. Now today we're going to be doing a little bit different. We're going to chop up the vegetables, the zucchini and the cucumber, and we're only going to soak that particular part of the vegetables. The rest of them you can go and put them in the pot, but either or way will work. And then you drain and rinse thoroughly with cold water and drain well again. And that's to get that excess salt off. Then you bring your lemon juice, which is what we're using today instead of vinegar, and your remaining ingredients to a boil in a large pan. Then you add your drained, chopped vegetables and return to a boil. Reduce to simmer and continue until relish reaches desired consistency, which is about 15 minutes, okay? Now this recipe is for canning. You can either save it in the refrigerator or freeze it for later use. But if those of you who know how to water bath can, it's 15 minutes in water bath canning. Now, right now, if you don't know how to can, we will be having future videos on canning. So if you have any questions, you can put it down in the comment box and maybe we can help you. I can help you later on, okay? Then after you can it, you store and keep it in a dry place. Okay, let's get started with our recipe. First of all, we need to chop up our vegetables, our zucchini and cucumber. Now, most of it I already did, but I just want to show you the process of why pulse. When you pulse, you are actually can do chopping with it. But if you let the machine just continue to run, you can make mush, okay? And what pulsing does, it actually throws the vegetable back to the center so that you can get it all chopped up. And then you can stop it according to how thick you want it or thin. But you don't want it to go to a mush, okay? So we're gonna pulse it right now. You can see the vegetables are jumping to the center, and that's what you want. If you let this run, all the vegetables scatter to the edges. So we're gonna look and see how it's coming along. Alrighty, let me go look in, because I may have to scrape some of the product down back in, a few pieces. Okay, now even when you pulse it, you may get some vegetables that are not broken down, but there'll be so few. You can either leave it in the recipe, or you can just take it out and chop it up with a knife. Now, if you don't have a food processor, I have this little piece of equipment that I think works very good. This is a Vidalia chopper. You can get them on Amazon. And what it does is you can do the fine chop or a little bit bigger. And this works wonders too. I use it to chop my other vegetables, as you're going to notice. They're very fine and very uniform, okay? So you have that as a choice, or you can use even a grater, a hand grater, okay? I just don't like the grater because it makes more slices instead of chopped pieces. All right, so let's finish chopping these. Doesn't take too much more. We don't want mush. All right. All right, so if you can see, if I can get this thing off. All right, sorry about that. You can see the consistency that I'm looking for. It would be as you would want your relish, okay? So I'll bring you back. We're gonna let this sit in the salt water for 1 hour, and then we're gonna drain it, okay? So I'll be back. All right, now we soaked our vegetables in the salt water, and then we strained it. It sat for 1 hour, okay? And so I strained it in a strainer so that all the juices come down, and rinsed it thoroughly to get that excess salt off of it. All right, so now what we're gonna do is this is gonna go in after we heat up all the other ingredients, okay? So we have a pot on a burner, and we're gonna start adding our ingredients. And so we're gonna have our liquids first. This is our 2 cups. Now remember, I'm doing a half a recipe because I didn't have as many vegetables as I needed. So we're gonna do 2 cups of lemon juice. And those vegetables that I was supposed to soak with the zucchini and cucumber, I'm just gonna be putting them in this water right now. So we have our red pepper, and I won't need all of this because this is a half a recipe, okay? Even though I love the color of red pepper, it makes it really look festive and nice. Now also, when you chop your zucchini and your cucumber, you don't want to peel it. The reason is that's what gives it a nice relish color with the different textures and colors of green, okay? So this is my onion. And I added a few other spices that are not, or seasonings that are not in the recipe. So it's called for dill weed fresh. I'm going to be using the dill dried. Okay, so we're going to put that. It says a whole half of a cup. I only use a quarter of a cup. Now remember the caraway seed? Okay, that's what we're using instead of mustard seed. And then we have our garlic, the 3 cloves or the 2 cloves. And again, half is less than that, but I love garlic, so I put it all in. Now also, I added some, trying to think which one, oh, celery seed. Celery seed is not in the recipe, but I put this in the recipe because another recipe had it in, and I love the flavor of celery seed. You can omit that if you don't want that. Okay, so we have that. Now, to add a little extra, if you want a little heat, I have some diced jalapenos. This again is optional. You don't have to have that in. And I'm only going to use about half of it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring all of these ingredients to a boil. And once that happens, then I will add the zucchini and the cucumbers. So come on back for the rest. All right, our mixture has come to a boil. And now we're going to add our drained and strained cucumber and zucchini squash, okay? So we're going to add that to our boiling mixture. And then when this is complete, we're going to bring it back to another boil for another 15 minutes. Now, this is going to be our last condiment in this series. If you have any questions, please write them down into the comment section. Our next is going to be on Q&A. So if you have any questions, we're going to have a video just on your questions, and we'll deal with the answers, okay? Alrighty. Again, we're going to get it all out. Alrighty. So now we're going to mix the vegetables into the liquid. And it looks like it needs a little bit more lemon juice. I'm going to put that in there because it's a little bit thick. And I don't want it that thick, okay? Because I did a half a recipe and everything wasn't exactly half, it may need a little bit more, okay? So I'm going to add about another cup. And we're going to bring this up to a boil and boil it for 15 minutes. And then it will be ready to be processed for canning if you choose to do that. Otherwise, you can put it in your canning jars and fill it up really low. If you freeze it, leave enough space for it to be able to expand when it's frozen. Or you can just put it in the refrigerator and have it as you need it. I don't know about you, but I don't use a lot of relish at one time. So if you can freeze it or store it for a longer period of time and just take it off the shelf when you need it, will be the best. Okay? Alrighty, so we're going to bring this to a boil and I'll come back to see you. Alright, our product has come to a boil, and this is the consistency that you want, the consistency of relish. And if you notice too that the vegetables, especially the squash and the cucumbers, have turned a little bit darker. And that's okay, that's what you're looking for. It shows that it's a little bit more cooked, okay? So we're going to put this in some jars to see how much we got from this recipe. And this is just a half. All right, now we're going to take our mixture and we're going to put it in some canning jars. Remember, I said you don't have to can it, but it's also good to, if you're going to freeze it, you can put it in jars like this, okay? But remember to leave that space. I would only go about an inch down if you're going to freeze it, okay? Now, if you're going to can it, this would be considered hot pack. So your jars have to be hot, your water has to be hot, and you're going to process it when it comes to a boil for at least 15 minutes, okay? So I'm going to finish filling these jars and come back and let you see how much did we make out of this recipe. All right, this is what we got from that recipe. We have 4 pints and a little bit left of an 8-ounce jar. This amount will have to be refrigerated. It's not full enough to can, but it is okay for refrigeration or for freezing. Now, when you're water bath canning, you want to make sure that the relish comes up to the neck of the jar, which gives you about an inch headspace, okay? So again, if you love this recipe, share it, like it, and hit that notification bell so that we can have more videos for you in the future. If you have any questions, comments, please put it into the comment section in this video. So we'll see you next video. Bye-bye.